Hello, happy Friday. Greetings from live from New York University here at the Tisch School of the Arts. It's me, Daniel Schiffman, and I am here on the coding train. Toot toot. Wait. As I am most every Friday in this strange room, which is actually just a closet with some file cabinets and a couple computers. But I'm here to talk about code and do some coding stuff and be with you, the people of the internet. And that's what I'm here for. So if you've never watched before, might I suggest something else to do? You know, tea is lovely to drink. Meditation is good. I like listening to music. Board games. I am a big fan of board games. Card games are excellent. Going outside and just playing like with a frisbee. I don't know why I always use frisbee as an example. Personally, I'm kind of like a baseball, throw the baseball, catch the baseball. Musical theater. Find somewhere that has musical theater and go watch and listen and be filled with joy with music and dance and song. Because if you are here just watching this video, it's just gonna be me and my computer over here. It's not a computer, it's a wall. Okay, so what's going on? Today is the usual Friday. It is about 4 p.m. Eastern time. One thing I wanted to mention is I'm now trying to alternate morning versus afternoon, my time, because I know that right now, hopefully you're sleeping and not actually watching this, but some of my international viewers, this is quite a late / middle of the night time. So everything I do gets preserved by the glorious thing that is the YouTube. I will archive it. I also save my own personal backup of the live stream, and you can always watch it back later. So what's going to happen today? I would first like to cover some business, which is my handy dandy guide to what's happening on the coding train. There it is. So you can go to this URL, which is github.com/codingtrain/rainbow-code. In this README, there are some key links for you. For example, the YouTube channel, The Coding Train. How you can become I think I should say become a patron. Like the service is Patreon, but the people are patrons. So if you would like to support what I'm doing in a financial way, you can sign up to become a patron. And depending on different levels, I will sometimes, when I get around to it, send you something in the mail. You will also get an invitation to the Slack channel, which I am looking at right now, where people are telling me to make sure, that I stay hydrated. Because as you know, Coding Train is brought to you by water. You can drink it, and then sometimes later, you might have to go, can I say pee on YouTube? Is that okay? I'm not sure. All right. Boy, let me tell you, ever since I got this water sponsorship, it's just been amazing here. I mean, my life has totally changed. So you can suggest a topic. It's kind of true that suggesting a topic really just goes into this giant list of stuff that I almost never get to. But I aspire someday I will figure out how to make this suggest a topic system work. And if I had a good system for upvoting or something, maybe at least once per week I could pull something from there. But right now I've just got stuff I'm trying to get to. Oh, the holidays are coming up. What could be better for your family, friends, significant other person than a Coding Train t-shirt or membership to the Patreon or mug? Anyway, there's stuff that you can buy, whatever. Don't worry about it. If you want to, it's there. It's there. So that's all I have to say about that. Now, this is my schedule of my future live streams. I am trying to have a schedule. Since I can't have a regular weekly time, what I at least would like to do is lay out a schedule in advance. And so this is today. Friday, November 17th, 4 p.m. I really need to go to the eye doctor. It's terrible. It's like, it's either too far or too close. I have to go like this. I have to take my glasses off. Whew. Okay, one of these days. I really think I also need some more colorful glasses, like something bright purple with really thick or something like that to be more stylish than I already am, because as you know, I'm quite, I mean, this is like, you know, I'm like totally with it with the whole YouTube thing and being like, you know, super YouTube creator style person, right? I'm so old to be on YouTube. Okay, now I'm looking at this. What else? Oh, so this is my schedule. This computer doesn't have a power plug, so every once in a while I have to. So this is some stuff I'm going to do today. Next week is a holiday here in the country where I live called Thanksgiving. So I will not be having a live stream on Friday, November 24th. In fact, this building where I broadcast from will be completely closed. So even if I wanted to, I could not get in here. So the next live stream will unfortunately be 2 weeks from now, but I am planning some bonus dates. I did miss a date when I had a bad cold in November. So right now, tentatively speaking, Wednesday, December 13th. I don't know if I take these topics too seriously. I'm probably going to change them because things are changing in my mind. I should also mention that, especially if you're in New York, you should come to this in person. But if I go to itp.nyu.edu/show, I should just always have this kitten Chrome extension. So this is, by the way, I forgot that last week. Let me just look at this here. Are there even kittens here? No, there's not a kitten there. Anyway, oh yeah, look, my profile picture is like some sort of kitten. I forgot that last week I did a, let's see if we refresh the page, different kitten. Aww. Aww. Oh, the ITP Winter Show is all about the kittens. Oh, sorry, it's just very distracting, the kittens. But I did a Chrome extension, which I changed any pictures to kittens. So maybe I need to just turn that off briefly here for a second. There we go, let's disable that. Now I can come back to this website. If you are here in New York, Sunday, December 17th from 2 to 6 p.m. and Monday, December 18th from 4 to 8 p.m. You can come visit and see all 100 plus projects made by ITP master's students all semester long. They'll be showing their work. I will be here. I will also, like I have done in previous shows, do a live stream from my mobile device with some kind of ridiculous selfie stick thing. Oh my God. Even worse than saying P is saying selfie stick. It's one of those, I have one of those things that's got like a smoothing thing in it. It helps you balance out whatever it is that you're holding. So I will do a live stream about and show you a project from the show as well. And this reminds me another announcement that I would like to make. In addition to teaching here at NYU in ITP, I am also involved with the Processing Foundation. You might remember the Processing Foundation from such hits as P5JS or processing.py. But one thing I wanted to mention is the fellowship program. The open call for the fellowships for 2018 is now live. Processing Foundation is a not-for-profit. We have a small, limited budget, and most of the things that we do are volunteer-driven, but this is one of the programs we run where we fund, with a stipend, speculative projects that can reimagine what processing can do as software and as a community. So I encourage you to look at past fellowships. You can see Cassie here, who's the creator of the P5JS web editor. Andrew has also worked on the web editor. DIY Girls, which is an organization in California. Gottfried, who does some Raspberry Pi stuff. Nicholas, who did some work in South Africa with kids who didn't have any experience with computers at all. Saskia, who's been teaching stuff in London. Susan, who did a program about teaching P5 in prisons. And these are even some previous ones, Allison and Claire, etc. So take a look at this. You can see what kind of projects we've funded in the past. And if you're interested in applying, you can just click here. And I believe it'll take you to a Google form. And hopefully most of that is self-explanatory. But if you have questions about that, you can reach out to me at Schiffman on Twitter. Also at processing.org is the official Processing Foundation Twitter. Sometimes weird noises happen in here, and I don't know if you hear them or just me. But it was as if somebody above me dropped a sort of like jar full of marbles. They started like rolling around. Or else I'm losing my mind more than I already am. All right, so what am I going to do today? Apparently, at some point, I put all this stuff on this list. So I would like to finish off. I mean, nothing is ever finished. but I would like to at least complete what I had set out to do about Chrome extensions. So I want to do a tutorial about how to add a pop-up to a Chrome extension. I forget what this is called. Somebody in the chat, oh, actually, okay, Austin is giving me a good point. I should mention some things about the Patreon rewards if people are curious. Andre in the chat asked, do you have any good JavaScript tutorials? Well, I definitely have JavaScript tutorials. Do I have good ones? Not so sure about that, but I definitely have them, and maybe you'll like them. So just to answer a question here and there, every once in a while I try to look at the live chat. It's very difficult to follow, but might as well mention, if you're a beginner and you've never programmed before, there are plenty of resources beyond what I offer here on the Coding Train, but the playlist you're looking for is this one, Foundations of Programming in JavaScript. So this is a playlist. If I click on it, no, it's going to start playing my video. I'm in an ad that's playing in front of my video for our new undergraduate program here. It's very meta. Everything's very meta here. But this is the playlist you want to look at. There was something I wanted to mention about this, which is if there's time today, I want to continue. Yeah, these videos. Once I get to 7.6, I'm still using an older way of creating objects in JavaScript. So there's 3 to-do videos here that I need to redo. So I got to come back to that. What was I talking about? So the Chrome extension stuff I want to do. On Twitter, I'm going to look up this tweet. Someone tweeted me very helpful information. And it's my fault really to think about, the Chrome extensions is something that I encountered a while ago and used and taught with them. But the concept of a browser extension beyond just simply the Chrome browser is a thing that exists, and you can make extensions for other browsers in a more open way as well. So I want to see if I can at least touch on that. I want to revisit the current state of WebGL and P5, maybe do a little tutorial, see how that is, and more OOP and JS, and yeah, definitely, iTerm, we'll be getting to that very soon. This is a new thing that I've been doing. Do I have this working? I don't think I have this. Maybe I'll go through the steps to install this. No. So I'm really excited about machine learning. AI stuff is coming to this channel. There's 2 things I'm excited about. One is I've been doing a lot of work recently with this library. And in fact, I met with the creators of the library yesterday. Nikhil Thorat and Daniel Smilkoff, who are amazing. This is a JavaScript library for doing deep learning in the browser, and I am working on a whole bunch of examples that I will go through and talk about on this channel very soon. I'm going to be updating a lot of my previous machine learning stuff using this library, so that's coming. The other thing that I have figured out to do, which is kind of fun, is any Python script, Torch script, something that you can run and do via the command line. I have a kind of a generic example for how to use node.js to run that script and send the results to your P5 sketch. So on the one hand, I want to be able to do some of these algorithms right there in the browser themselves. But if I need to run this algorithm as a separate script in a different programming language or environment, I can use Node to connect those 2 things. So whether I get to that today or not is kind of an open question. But that's my plan. So that's my introduction, 15 minutes. I am going to now take the time at the beginning. Usually I save this for the end, but I feel it's important to continue my work reading the entire book, A Million Random Digits with 100,000 Normal Deviates. Last time, I made it through the foreword. I don't think I read the table of contents. So I'm going to read the table of contents right now, and I'll move on. Contents, page. Let me start over. Contents, page. Acknowledgements, 7. Introduction, 9. Production of the random digits, 9. Tests on the random digits, 11. Normal deviates, 14. Use of the tables, 20. Table of random digits, 1 through 400. Table of random normal deviates, 1 to 200. Pagination begins anew with each table. Acknowledgements. The following persons participated in the production, testing, and preparation for publication of the tables of random digits and the random normal deviates. Paul Armour, E.C. Bauer, Mrs. Bernice Brown, G.W. Brown, Walter Frantz, J.J. Goodpasture, W.F. Gunning, Cecil or Hastings, Olaf Helmer, M.L. Juncosa, J.D. Madden, A.M. Mood, R.T. Nash, J.D. Williams. These tables were prepared in connection with analyses done for the United States Air Force. Okay, well, the introduction is going to be, honestly, the interesting thing is the stuff in the introduction is really fascinating, interesting stuff. And then I get to the random numbers. Got to get to those random numbers. All right, put that over there. ITP Winter Show. This was my bookmark. I didn't put it in the book. Somebody will remind me next time. I'm being asked in the chat. Austin says, don't we usually do this part at the end? Yes, we do, but I feel it's important to emphasize the random numbers book, and I want to, maybe as a bookend to today's episode, I'll do it at the beginning and the end. All right, let me take this, let me look at this chat here for a second. Okay, so I'm going to answer a couple questions. Zayed asks, how much different is P5.js from regular JavaScript? And this is an excellent question. On the one hand, oh, and by the way, while I'm answering this question, if somebody, maybe even in the Slack patron group, could give me a screenshot of how I had the whiteboard about Chrome extensions at the end of last week's video, I'm going to need to, unfortunately, oh, it's off, recreate that, because the whiteboard has been erased. I left it there, but other people use this room. So now, first of all, I do have a video. I think it's something like the history of P5 or comparing P5 and processing. I have a couple videos. Maybe they're under the Q&A playlist where I talk about some of this stuff a bit more in depth, perhaps. But in a way, I might say that comparing P5 and JavaScript is a flawed comparison. So the thing to compare would be sort of more like comparing P5 and D3, or P5 and jQuery, or P5 and 3JS. Because 3JS, D3, P5, jQuery, many more things, these are libraries for the language that is JavaScript. So JavaScript is the programming language. P5 is simply a library of stuff that you can import and use while you're programming in JavaScript. The reason why the question is quite valid, though, however, is because what P5 does is simply wrap or alter or provide a simpler, smaller syntax for some of the things you might do in JavaScript natively, meaning with just what the sort of like language provides in the browser for you by default, mostly around drawing to a canvas. So, and it's meant to be more beginner-friendly and easy to get up and running with, valuing, sort of like emphasizing that over kind of longer, scalable, larger software projects that require a lot more strict ways of putting things together. So that's what I would say is kind of an answer to that. Austin is also asking me to mention the Google form. So I don't want to overemphasize the Patreon stuff, but I am finally getting around to sending rewards out for everybody who joined in 2016. 17? I got the year. It's 2017, everybody. It's like the end of 2017. I've gotten everybody who joined in 2016, I think, yes. That was done at the end of last year. So you should have got, if you're a patron, you should have gotten an email with a Google form. If you already filled out a Google form, then you didn't get an email because I have your information already. If for some reason you think that you should get something but you haven't or did get a form, just send me a note. Great. So now I have this whiteboard image, and I'm going to zoom in on it, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to try to recreate it. So I probably should have done this. So what's the main thing we need for a Google form? Chrome extension. I don't know. I think my brain is misfiring more and more every day. Somebody should do a scientific study of how my vocabulary is doing over time. Content script. Last week, I did some tutorials on content scripts. And we had a file called content.js. I also looked at background scripts. And I called that background.js. I don't like this marker. Let's try a different one. Actions, browser action, page action. I talked about actions. Browser action, page action. I think I might not, I'm going to have erased that since last week because I'm going to actually put pop-ups down here. So, you know, what I could do is like add over here like browser actions. The browser action is like you hit a button in the browser and you can listen for that in the background script. I had a little diagram, a silly diagram of the browser itself, which looked something like this. And I think I said something like content and a button. Like a button. So I think this is fine to start with. So the other thing I would love for people to think about as I sort of move into looking at what a pop-up is and how you do a pop-up, I would love to get some ideas for like, so I want to do the same thing I did last week, which is just kind of do some standard regular tutorials, and that would be just how to put a pop-up, how to communicate between a pop-up and a content script. And we'll see if I want to do the tab over and a tab override. I definitely want to do that. So I want to do those things. And then what I would like to do is like come up with some very simple scenarios. Like I had the kittenizer thing, I had the doodler thing. So I want to do like maybe one or two Chrome extension challenges. Mostly when I ask for this, the things people give me are like really complicated, elaborate project ideas. That's what I want you to make. It doesn't have to be complicated, but I want to make really simple, quick projects that are kind of ridiculous and useless to help inspire you to make things from those. All right, so, all right. So I think I'm good to go with the pop-up thing. If you wouldn't mind indulging me for a second, I would love to just like look at some of my examples. Oops. So one thing, I failed to get the code from last week uploaded. I meant to try to get this afternoon so I at least could say like I uploaded it, but I didn't get to. So apologies for that. I will make sure soon to have all of the code from the tutorials from last week and from today uploaded on GitHub. But what I want to show you is I also have a lot of Chrome extensions, first of all. I have a write-up. By the way, if anyone wants to, this page, this website, this is where I have tutorials for one of my courses. If anybody wants to give me a pull request this page to fix up anything that's there, point to new examples, embed my YouTube videos that I've published in the appropriate place on this page. I mean, I'm going to get to this at some point, but I would accept the pull request. It's github.com/Schiffman/Schiffman.net. You can find, this is a GitHub Pages site that uses Jekyll, so you have to kind of see how that works, but I would love help with that. What I'm looking for is where I have the stuff on messaging. I have pop-ups. So this is how I do a pop-up. I give it an HTML page. And then what I want to look at, then a lot of these examples are here in my A to Z course. And I just wanted to see pop-up messaging. How did I do this between pop-up and the content script? So this searches for and just sends a message. So it's the same thing that you do in a background script, but you send it from the pop-up. Great, okay, so I'm going to do this. All right. Okay. Yeah, so here's a good clarification thing. I'm going to read this comment also from Austin. It might be worth mentioning, when you make a Chrome extension, the background script and the pop-up scripts essentially run in their own individual environments. And this, I didn't mention to say it in those words, but this is why when I look at the Chrome extensions page and I want to debug something, if I want to debug a background script, I'm going to have to go and open a console through here, the separate environment. And it doesn't know anything about the content page, only the content page does. So having an extension enabled is the equivalent of having 1 or 2 tabs constantly open. So having a lot of extensions running can slow things down. This is a good point. Okay. I'm not going to be able to follow any suggestions that are in the YouTube chat. I mean, I might catch one. So if anybody sees something good, if you're in the Patreon group and you see something, you can paste it in the Slack chat, or you can tweet your suggestions to @thecodingtrain. I think I'm logged in as that, so I can look at my notifications. So if you have a suggestion for, ooh, this is a nice, these are nice things. Okay, if you have a suggestion, you can tweet it to me here, and I will take a look at it. All right. I think maybe, oh, boy, did I really just talk for a half an hour? I think maybe we're ready to begin. What's interesting to me is, like, I could easily imagine a live stream that happens, you know, every week or something. That's just like a half an hour long. I managed to just talk for a half an hour about, like, how I'm about to do something. So apologies for that. Mono Deep in the chat asks, do you have any Node.js tutorials? I have a whole bunch of Node.js tutorials. I wish there was a really perfect and great way that I could organize everything so you could find it instantly. You're just gonna have to poke through my different playlists on YouTube. All right, let's remember our sponsor on the coding train. Hydrogen dioxide. That oxygen stuff with the hydrogen stuff, I mean, you got to get it mixed in a certain way, precisely, otherwise you could really run into trouble, but it is quite good. All right. Yeah, I'm being asked, will you make a tutorial about how to make a Firefox extension? I would like to. To be honest with you, I've never done that before, so I might make it more of, like, I don't know if tutorial is the right word, but I'm going to attempt to do one if we have time today. Dihydrogen oxide. I said that wrong, didn't I? Oh my God. Hold on. I totally said that wrong. How embarrassing. And then H2O. Wikipedia. Yeah, the 2 is for the, oh my God, I don't even want to, let's just move off of this topic immediately. Oh no, I was right. You're talking about something else. I don't know what's going on anymore. Can we please move off? I don't know anything about chemistry. It's chemistry, right? That's the correct subject. Do I own a clothing store? I do not. But I do have, okay, wait, hold on. Let's go. This is live, right? I can't just, like, go back in time anymore. Let's do some pop-ups. Let's think about kittens.
Unicorns and rainbows and cupcakes. What else is there? Yes, kittens. Thank you very much. Kittens and rainbows and cupcakes. Notice that. Look what I get. I'm really losing my mind. Okay.
All right, so thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. This has been the Coding Train introduction. I think I gotta go. I'm gonna be here till 6. We'll be fine. Okay. Hello. This is another video in my series about Chrome extensions, which, you know, right now I just want to say at the beginning of this video, I hope to actually turn this playlist into something that's, instead of saying Chrome extensions, just say browser extensions, because that is something that is quite possible beyond simply the browser Chrome, but I'm going to stick with Chrome right now as I work through all the details. So, what am I going to add in this particular video? Well, as you can see here in my diagram, I can't see over there anymore. My monitor is now blocked by something else. As you can see in my diagram here, I have talked about content scripts and background scripts. And what I'm going to add today is something called a pop-up. So a pop-up is a page that you can launch that's essentially like an overlay of what's in the browser at a certain moment, and I can launch it via a browser action. For example, clicking a button that I have in the top over here, I can press that button and I can have some sort of pop-up come up. So I could do things like, I could have an interface where I could change colors or make selections or type in a word that I want to look up. I could augment the browsing experience through a separate pop-up page that is part of my Chrome extension. So that's what we're going to make in this tutorial. I'm now going to walk over here. And then I just realized I don't have anything prepared code-wise, so I gotta, this will be an edit point. So I'm gonna go here, Chrome extensions, background script. Let's stick with that one. Whoops. So I'm going to do 05 pop-ups. And one thing I want to do is just fix this button, because I think this button had all this transparency associated with it. I'm just going to, wait, hold on. This is very important work that I'm doing. I'm going to crop this image. It's very important that I do this. And then I'm going to look, I'm going to delete these extensions, and I'm going to change, I'm going to open up Atom, and I'm going to close these, and I'm going to go to pop-ups. So I have a background script, which I don't need. Just to have a pop-up, I don't need a background script. So I'm going to take out the background script. This content script just changes when I press the button. So I'm going to take this out. I'm going to leave this in here. Maybe I should do this in, hold on. I'm going to actually do this in the tutorial. So I'm going to start with the one that I had last. So let me put that back. Then here. So I'm going to change the browser action to a pop-up. Okay. I should really switch to Visual Studio. Yeah, probably. Oh, there's this teletype thing for Atom. Have you all seen this? I really should try it. It's very dangerous it allows everybody to collaboratively edit the same file, which I would love to do, but I have a feeling that I will get some serious trolling if I just open that up to anybody. So I'm not so sure how to approach that. All right. So I'm going to call this Coding Train extension 3. And I'm going to hit refresh, and I'm going to come back over here, and all right, I'm going to, I can leave these things open, that's fine, put this here. All right. And now, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the code that I had at the end of my background script tutorial, which if we look at, and I've already made a copy of it into a new folder, which I'm calling pop-ups, which you can find a link to this code for this tutorial in the description as usual. What I have is that manifest.json file. So I've already changed it to Coding Train extension 3. Maybe I'll say, I'll change it to the Coding Train pop-up. The content script is available for all URLs. The background script. Now, interestingly enough, I actually don't need a background script just to have a pop-up. Like I might need a background script for something else that's going on in my extension, but I don't need it just for the pop-up. So I think just for simplicity in this particular tutorial, I'm going to take out the background script. And I'm actually going to just delete the file that is the background script. Actually, you know what? I'm going to leave it there because eventually, one thing that I'm going to want to do is, if you recall, a way that I sent a message, the way that I controlled the content script or made an event happen in the content script from the background script was sending a message. And actually what I'm probably going to want to do now is send a message from the pop-up to the content script. So the code that's in the background script is going to become useful for me because I can use that same code in the pop-up. All right, so but when there's a browser action, I want there to be something more. I want there to be a default pop-up. No, it's not written over there, what I'm supposed to type right here. I just looked over there because there was something interesting happening. I didn't put any notes over there. And I want this to be, now can I make that in another folder? Let's try this. What I want to try to do is make the pop-up an entire let's actually first just make it an HTML page. So I'm going to just call it popup.html. And I think I need to say, oh, I don't need to, but I can say default title. And this will appear in like the tooltips, like a pop-up will come here. All right, so I think that is now some stuff that I can add to now have a pop-up. Now, what this means is there needs to be an HTML page called popup.html. So I'm going to make that file, popup.html, and I'm just going to, I don't really know, you need all this stuff in the HTML page, but let's just put basically like something really basic there right now, just to say like, hello, or I know, chew, chew. Okay, so this page I want to see pop up when I press that button in the browser. Okay, here we go. So now, what do I need to do? Remember, I need to load the code. I need to load that extension, 05 pop-ups. This is the one I'm going to select, the whole folder. I'm going to hit select. No errors occurred in the loading of this extension, so it should be fine. Now I can go to any page. I just happen to be going to my my Chrome extension tutorial page. So I go there. Now look, I should be able to see this button right here. This is my button. The reason why it has that image is because I included the default icon to be this PNG file. And if I click there, look at that. There's my pop-up. I mean, it can't have a giant choo-choo right there and not use the train whistle. All right, so we see that the pop-ups work. Now, let's try to do something a little bit more interesting with the pop-up. Let me see if I can put an animation there or something. Let's see if I can put a whole P5 sketch there. So let's try that. So what I want to do, I'm going to just work with the file system for a second. Like, let me see if I can do, I'm going to make a folder called sketch. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually delete popup.html. We saw that that worked. I'm going to pause for a second and come back in a second. Bing! And we need to find a P5 sketch. So what's a good example P5 sketch? Like the flocking one, for example. For like no good reason other than why not, right? So where do I have nature of code examples? On this computer, examples -P5. I seriously do not have nature of code examples -P5. Let's go get that. GitHub.com/Schiffman/the nature of code examples -P5.js. Let us clone this repository. Oh, the morphing circle, that is a good one. Oh yeah, I should probably use something from a previous coding challenge. So this is a better idea. Thank you, good suggestion. So where do I keep that? Let's look for the rainbow code repository. I must have it somewhere on this computer. Whoops. And let me, oh! It's in my other, it's in a different, this is going to be a problem. Is it really going to let me do this? There's no way it's going to let me do this. Whoa, yeah, because I'm not logged. This is so ridiculous. Boy, am I really making this up. I'm overdoing this now. Just like a rainbow, there's a song. Anyway, I don't know what my computer is showing me. That's going to be good enough. So let's go to coding challenges, and let's find, what's a good one from here? The morphing. Let's try one of the games, like am I having technical issues? I should have just done the flocking thing. I don't know why. Now I got myself feeling crazy, like I have to decide. What is this, a fractal tree in P5? Yeah, I mean, let's try this. Yeah, let's just get this one. Okay. Oh, I like the maze generator. Let's do that. Because I'm kind of curious that it has like all this stuff in it. Let's do that. Desktop, Chrome extensions, pop-ups. And I'm just going to really quickly run a server just so I can make sure that example works. Whoa. Did I just name the folder? Oh, I meant to name this folder sketch, not sketch.js. And here we go. Oh, all right. All right, so this does work. Oh, something horrible has happened though, which is that I think it kept the file extension. These computers are so silly because it's still in a folder called sketch.js. Oh my God, because everything's going to be okay, everybody. I'm going to manage this. I'm going to manage this. I am going to make this happen. I can do it. I can put everything where I want it to be. I can fix things that are named in weird ways for no reason. And there we go. Okay, so now the goal is when I click the button to have the maze pop up. Let's see if we can make that work. All right. So where was I in this tutorial? I was somewhere lost. All right. And I'm back. Now, what I have done in that very long amount of time, way longer than it should have taken me, is I have grabbed one of my previous examples from a coding challenge that generates a maze, and I've put all of the code for that coding challenge in a folder called Sketch. So now what I want is for the pop-up to display that example. Let's just look at that example, what that example does. I've got that example also just running here in the browser. Let me just quickly go to that. So this is the example. It generates a maze using a particular algorithm that I used a long time ago in a challenge. So what I want is when I click this, the file's not there anymore. I want to see that maze. Okay, here we go. We're going to make this happen. So what do I do? What I have to do is, this file doesn't exist anymore. I deleted it. What I need to do is here, the default pop-up should be sketch /index.html. So the question is that enough? If I just point to that page that's in the sketch folder, will it work, or do I need to do something more to reference the different JavaScript files and libraries and things that I'm using? Let's find out. And then I'm going to change, oh, let me just show you that here we should say generate a maze. That's going to be the message, the little tooltip message when you hover over the button. So I need to go and reload the Chrome extension. And it doesn't actually really matter what page I'm on, but I'm going to stick on this page. If I hover over here, you should see, right? I'm getting that generate a maze message. And then it worked. So that was actually quite easy. So you can see here, I have the maze generating in the pop-up. And interestingly enough, let me press that, but it goes away. Is it going to pause and continue from where it was before? Is it going to start over? Had it already been running for a while when I first clicked it? I didn't even notice. Let's look again. Let's see. This is interesting. It started over. So notice this is very important. This is a page that's being loaded fresh each time, every time you click. It's not a page that's running and being hidden and then revealed. It's actually a new page that's being loaded, which brings up another question. How do I debug something that's happening on the pop-up? Is there something here? Nope, whoops. So let's add a console.log into the pop-up. This is actually all of that code. And I'm just going to say console.log frame count. So this is what I would log typically in a P5 sketch. If I wanted to just see that it was running, it should say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, counting every single frame. So now I'm going to reload the extension. I'm going to refresh over here, and I'm going to click the button. So where is it logging that? Oh, let's look in the JavaScript console. Let's try clicking the button again. It's over my console. Let me try again. No, so notice how this is not where only the content script is playing a role in the actual content page. This pop-up is just information. So this video is about to end because I'm kind of at the end of it, but I need to do something. What I want to show is how you can have the content script send a message, the pop-up send a message. Because ultimately, maybe I want to build an interface there where I made a Chrome extension where I doodle on the page. So maybe I can like pick a color or change the line thickness, that type of thing. So I'm going to get to that in the next video, but I at least want to figure out where I can debug this stuff. Let's go back to here. Wow, I expected to see it here. Pause. Look at the chat. Where do I see the right click on the pop-up and you have the console for debugging? Oh, that's what I need to do. Or is it even something that I could do here? Oh, this is where I could do it. Whoops. So this is actually where I want to do it, right? No. Inspect. I guess I need a whole separate, I need to get it here. All right, great. So that's what I'm going to do. So interesting though, I would have assumed, oh, maybe, I wonder what this is here. But let's put it back. And where was I? Did I already just look? I think I just looked over here. I'm going to do that again just in case I didn't. All right, so we've established that it's not here in the console. I don't see any console.log. If I look here, this is where I would have a console log for a background script, but I don't have a background script. This is a pop-up. I don't see it there. Where is it? So actually, thank you to the chat who clued me in on this. I'm going to press this button here, and I'm going to right-click. And if I right-click, I now see I have this option called Inspect. And I can select that, and it's going to bring up another window. I can go over to console. So this is the JavaScript console for the pop-up. There's a JavaScript console for the page, content page. There's a JavaScript console for the background script, and now there's a JavaScript console for this particular pop-up. Okay, so I've shown you how to add a pop-up. You can do this. Anything that you can put on a web page can be in a pop-up. You could start querying APIs and drawing maps and doing anything in that pop-up. So what I want to do in the next video is show you how to send a message from the pop-up to the content script and change something in the interface by what you're doing in the pop-up. And I have an idea for that. Okay. Hold on. We might have some breaking news. Default console log comes from content scripts, your pop-up scripts alone scope. Yeah. Yes. Okay. All right, so now next up, almost finished with this coffee here. I don't know what I'm going to do when it's all done. Just drink water. Coding, that coding train pop-up thing looks red. I'm not sure what that's referring to, Simon, but all right, so thank you, Potato Kaboom. I love all these crazy names that appear in the chat. So feeling a little woozy. Didn't eat a very big lunch today. I think it's not good for when it starts to approach 5 o'clock. So what I want to do is I need to talk a little bit about scope. Let me think what I'm going to do here. The content script in the example just changed the content of paragraph elements. I mean, I think an interesting code, a couple coding challenges could be take my doodle example and like change the thickness of what you're drawing. I actually didn't publish that video. I just realized I didn't publish that video yet. It's there in the playlist if you want to find it, but it's just not made public yet. Another option would be, I mean, I have this idea of doing something today that's a Chrome extension for Twitter. Mostly like, can we fix Twitter? Like basically just make a Chrome extension that erases everybody's tweets and you only see like nice messages to people. That's an idea. And maybe then the pop-up, you could like type in your messages. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is, I think what this did, right, is it made this Chrome extension, what I had before, is it changes the inner it made everything pink or whatever, the background color, but I can change the inner HTML to whatever you're typing in the pop-up. So we're going to do that. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah, the pop-up just by default gets the automatic document body width or whatever, the page width, and kind of sizes it that way. At least turn the doodle thing on and off. That's a great idea, Simon. So, you know, all these ideas, one of my reasons for being here is not to do all the ideas, but to have other people do the ideas. But that is perfect. That's a great thing. Okay, so let me move on now and go on. So, oops. I'm definitely going to need a short break at some point to get some more water. It's because I talked about well, where am I? Here I am. Okay. Okay, I'm back in another video about pop-ups. What I did in the previous video is I just made something, a page, pop up when I press the button in the Chrome extension. You know what? It's really bugging me. I don't know what it looks like for a broadcast on YouTube, but I'm getting some weird like moire pattern thing. It's driving me crazy. So I just want to change the width to like 50. Or maybe 40 is actually. 40 is better. Oh, I need to reload the extension. There we go. Okay. Interestingly enough, it's like kind of, and then I'm going to, hold on, I just want to like clean this up a little bit. There we go, it's a little bit better. All right. Okay, sorry, all right. Pop-up, this is another video. I just thought of that right now. Oh, I'm such a, not a genius when it comes to bad jokes on the internet. And I also think like I hurt my back the other day. Anyway, here I am in another video about pop-ups in Chrome extension. So in the previous video, all I showed you how to do was if you add a browser action with a button, when you click that button, you can have a web page pop up. And in this case, I have an entire P5.js sketch animating as part of the pop-up. But why would I want to have a pop-up? Well, one of the reasons why I would want to have a pop-up is to provide an interface for my Chrome extension that might change some settings, to have some place where I could enter some information, to show something related to what's on the web page that I'm on. So in order for that to actually happen, I need to have some way of communicating between the content and the pop-up. Now, one thing that's important about Chrome extension, I haven't actually used the word scope, but I think it's to mention this. Before, when I wanted to communicate between the background script and the content script, they live in different scopes. Each one of these things lives in its own bubble. The background script, the pop-up. The background script, the pop-up, the content script. All in their own separate bubble. So, only the content script is allowed to mess around and know about what's on the content page. The pop-up knows nothing about that. And it's not as if you could just make a global variable and use the same variable in both places. They're different scopes. There's sort of a trick to getting variables from the background script, but that's another story. Now, so what I need to do is I need to have a way of sending messages back and forth. Very similar to how you might do this in a networked application. I have this thing running over here and this thing running over there, and I'm going to send a message over here to make this thing happen. That's what I need to do. The nice thing is the API, the set of functions that I showed in a previous video for how to communicate from the background script to the content script, I can use that same functionality to communicate from the pop-up to the content script. So what I think I'm going to try to do, let's come back over here, is first I'm going to get rid of this maze thing. It's kind of interesting, but I'm going to go into my P5 sketch. I'm just going to kind of delete everything. And I'm going to have some extra JavaScript that I don't need. I'm going to delete that. No. I'm going to delete this extra file here. This does not need to be in this video. I'm going to go to sketch.js, and I'm just going to say function setup and function draw. And I'm going to say no canvas. And I'm going to put some elements on the page like, I don't need this anymore. I don't need the sound library. Oh, that's interesting that I could have sounds. I'm going to put some elements on the page. So I'm going to say type paragraph replacer. And then I'm going to make an input element with an ID called user input. I don't know, is that how you do it? Do I need to close it like that or just put a slash on the end? Something like that. I'm going to put that in like a paragraph. Then what I'm going to do, let's see, this looks weird, but I feel like I messed something up here, but I'm just going to leave it. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to reload my extension, and I'm going to press the pop-up. I say, OK, so now I have this paragraph replacer. What I want to do is anything I type here, I'm going to replace the content on the web page with anything I type there, just as a demonstration of how you can communicate between the two. And remember, I could send from the content script. So one thing I might like to do, for example, is I actually have an example. I'll link to that from here. Is what if I'm on a web page and I select a word, and then I press this? I'm going to do this as a coding challenge. So I select a word on the web page, I press the button, and it goes to an API like WordNick and finds me the definition for that page. So we'll do that as a coding challenge in maybe the next video, actually. But in this video, I'm going to do something simple. And I just need to have this messaging go back and forth. So how do I do that? First, let me just weirdly make sure messaging works. And I'm going to, actually, no, let's, I don't need the draw loop. There's no animation happening. You could have an animation. What I want to do is I want to say user input equals select. So I'm using the P5 DOM library to grab that element. And that says user put, user input. Then I want to use the user input dot input. There are two events that can be associated with a text box. One is the event called changed, which only happens when I press enter or tab out of that. And I could maybe have a submit button or something, but I'm actually just going to do it as I'm typing. So the input event is an event that happens every time I press a key. So I'm going to say pressed, user key pressed. Oh boy, terrible name for a function. I can't even tolerate it. New text, we'll call this new text. So I'm going to write a function called new text. And here, now I want to send a message to the content script. So all I'm going to do now to make sure this is working is send a message with what's in, like this is the message, user input dot value. So whatever is in that text input box, that's going to be the message. So a content script actually already has code to receive a message. It already has code to receive a message because that's what I had in a previous example, and I actually don't need to change it. I do need to think about how I'm going to format that message. My background script that I did in a previous video has the code to send a message. This is how I send a message. Now the thing is, how do I get the current tab's ID? So this isn't going to work exactly. Let me move this into here. The idea that I'm going to do here is right now I'm going to craft a message as a JavaScript object. Then I'm going to send that message to the tab that I'm currently on. I could actually send it to other tabs, but I'm going to send it to the tab that I'm currently on. How do I get the tab that I'm currently on? I have to look up how to do that. I have it in an example. I'm like, where would be the document? Pause for a second. I'm looking in the chat to see if someone just wants to tell me where the document. Oh, this computer went awry. Let's see if I have any. Okay, so this is not scroll. The chat is not scrolling here. I don't need the input. Call it change text. Yeah, these are all like much better. Yeah. Oh, these are all so much better suggestions. All right, so what I'm looking for is, let me look at my example first, but I'm rather look, let me look in my example. And in my example, pop-up messaging, how did I get it? Oh, I have to query for the tab. Look at that. I have to query for the tab. All right. So tabs.query. Params, active true, current window true. And then I have to query, and then I get the tabs back. All right. All right, that's interesting. So let's see, where would that be? That would be Chrome Tabs API. This is it. So just so I understand correctly, I'm going to correct this. I don't even need this anymore. Like, I should just do this. So just like this is more correct. All right, I will get rid of that. I will get rid of that in a little bit. Why is my monitor is like lagging behind me? It's kind of freaking me out. So when I do something, it like happens. Oh, this is so weird. Wait. I'm in real time. I think are you guys seeing a delay with my typing? Like, watch this. I'm pressing A, and then it appears. Pressing A. Are you guys seeing that delay, or am I just seeing this delay in a preview? Boy, I'm really getting stuck on something. Indentation is off. I have a feeling it's off because of this, or maybe this. What did I miss? There's a little delay. It's not really bugging anybody too much, right? The delay, I probably shouldn't worry about fixing that right now. Yeah. I see everybody, huge delay. So let me know in the, if the delay is actually an issue, or if it's like everything, you can follow everything that I'm doing even with that delay. Okay. I know the indentation is off, but, oh yeah, let me fix that. That's going to make people crazy. All right. No, okay, wait. So, query. Oh, get. Actually, you could just use get. I was using query in my example, but maybe we can, okay, so, okay. Okay, so what I need to look at is the Chrome tabs package. I don't know if package is the right thing to say, the API, and that's here. So extension/tabs. This is a set of functions that I can employ to sort of figure out about the tabs. So one thing I could do is just probably get current is all I need. Actually, in some of my examples, I noticed I'm using this query to like query about all the tabs, but I think all I need to do is say get current. So get current just gets the current tab, which is what I want. So I am going to say, first what I need to do is say Chrome tabs get current and a got tab. So I need another callback. And I'm getting into this sort of like crazy nested callback stuff, which I really want to try to avoid. And some of the new arrow syntax and other promises stuff, I'll get into that at some point to kind of, but I think this is fine. So right, the user presses a key, new text, and someone suggested that I call this change text, which I think is better. Then, as soon as that happens, I want to say, which is the tab? Which is the current tab? So I need to get the current tab. Once I've got the current tab, it should be the actual current tab is passed into my callback as an argument. So once I do that, I could just send the message to that particular tab. I'm going to send the message hello, right? I'm not actually doing anything of value yet. I'm going to send that message hello, and let's see what happens. So now, let's go and, and let me in the content script, I'm console logging the message. So I'm actually just going to console log the whole message. So we should see that in the content script. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reload my extension. I'm going to go over here to this page. I'm going to open up the JavaScript console. And when I do this, I don't see anything yet. But as soon as I start typing in that paragraph, I should see here the message coming through. That didn't work. So let's look at let's inspect this element. Let's look at the console. Oh, tabs.getCurrent cannot read property ID of undefined. So you might need permissions. So thank you. Breaking news from the chat. First of all, Simon, thank you. Simon suggested that I call it change text. And I probably need to add, anytime you start to use something from the Chrome API, I need to explicitly say in my manifest.json that I intend to use this. So I don't know if that's the problem, but we're going to have to figure this out. So one thing that it could be is that I need to go to my manifest.json and add something like permissions. Is permissions already in here? No. Permissions. And this should be maybe an array. Oh, it's an array, I think. And it has tabs as one of my permissions. So this could be the thing that fixes it. Let's try it. I kind of think that I might have done something else wrong, but let's try it. So I'm going to reload this. I'm going to reload this. I'm going to open up here. Yeah, it didn't work either. I'm really just way too in love with my sound effects. I probably need an intervention about that. All right, so that was not the error here. I'm going to think about this a little bit. Let's look at the documentation. Do you know what's good to do? Read the documentation. Get the tab that this script call is being made from. May be undefined if called from a non-tab context. For example, a background page or Oh, that's the wrong sound effect. I'm the worst. I just or pop-up view. So that's definitely the problem, and that's probably why what I actually did in one of my examples is use query. So let's use query. So let's try using query. So I'm going to change this to saying, I'm going to go back to my content, where am I? In where am I looking in? The pop-up, yeah, in the pop-up. I'm going to change this to chrome.tabs query. And what I need to do if I'm going to run query is I need to give it some parameters for the query. Like it says optional, but I want like all of the active tabs. And I want, I think it's only active or current window and current window. I might not need these, but I recall doing this in a previous example. So, but it's up to you to sort of read this documentation to see what tabs you want returned. So I need that. So now I can query for all of those tabs. This is now, I want to say got tabs because what I'm going to do is get an array of tabs. I know that the query function, probably if I look at the documentation, it explains gets all the tabs that have the specified properties. There might be a way for me to just get only the current tab, but I'm pretty sure that tabs index 0 is the tab that I want. So let's try this now. I think we're in good shape here. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say reload the extension. I'm going to come over here. Press the pop-up. Oh, seriously? How could that not have worked? Let's look here. Inspect. Console. Huh, no error message. So let's take a look at this. So let's debug this. Text changed. Let's console log that. This video has way more debugging than usual. And let's console log, let's look at the tabs. I'm going to say got tabs, and let's console log it. And now let's try this again. To reload the extension, I'm going to not use my ridiculous sound effects anymore because I'm overdoing it. I'm going to reload the extension. I'm going to press this. Oh, of course, now it works. I probably just like missed clicking save or reload or something. Anyway, so I think it actually did work, but that's how I would have debugged it if it hadn't worked. Weirdly enough, I'm like behind by one reload. Right? Because now I'm not seeing my messages. Save. Am I not like saving in the right? It's like behind by one reload. Let's reload. Let's refresh. Weird. Oh! Oh, no, 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 no. I made the classic error. I'm looking for all of my messages here. Only the content script messages will be there. If I want to see the pop-up messages, they are here. So that is working. It's an array. It's, this is the information. I got lots of information. It's an incognito tab. What URL is it on? What's the width? You can see there's lots of information that you can get. All right, we're in good shape. Let's move a little bit more quickly here just to finish this off. So what I actually want to do is I want to send, what I want to send is, what was it called? I called it user input, user input.value. And what I want to do in the content script is rather than change the background color, I'm going to change the inner HTML. I think that's what I write, to message.text. And I'm not going to bother to check if it's a certain message. There's only one kind of message I can get. So as long as I've gotten a message, change whatever the paragraph text to that message. Okay, here we go. I'm feeling good about this. I think this is going to work. And I'm going to reload the extension. I'm going to refresh this page. It's got some paragraphs on it. I'm going to feel confident enough to actually close the JavaScript console. I'm going to open this up. And now, here we go. Oh, that's the worst. I really shouldn't have done that. All right, I shouldn't have closed anything. Let's try this again. Let's look at. Let's look here. Console. Oh, syntax error in my code. Ah, the worst. I'm the worst. Sketch.js line 21. Oh, what did I put this semicolon there? Probably all of you noticed this and you had to watch like an extra 2 minutes of this video. I could edit out this mistake, but probably going to leave it in. Let's try this one more time. Reload the extension. And, oh, no. And now press this. And now I'm going to type into the paragraph relacer. I'm going to say, hello. What did I miss this time? Inspect. Console. Okay, so that's working. All right, let's see what's going on here in the content script. Console.log message. Didn't get the message. Sketch.js. Mathieu, I think we're going to have to do some editing on this one. This is too many. I should be one line below. Yeah, the semicolon should go here, but oh, is there something weird with the sound effects? Those messages, maybe they're not P elements? No. All right, hold on. Oh, dot style. This dot style is not relevant. I had dot style because I was changing the background color. Inner HTML is not a part of the style. It's just part of the element itself. So I think it's going to work this time. I've corrected this. Everything's good here in terms of my syntax. Let's try this one more time. Okay, here we go. I am now going to reload the extension. Refresh the page, press this button, and start typing. Yay, look, whatever I type into here now goes into every single paragraph element on the page. This worked! Exclamation point. Thank you very much. So this has been the end of this sending a message from a pop-up to the page. And I'm going to do a coding challenge, which you'll find at some point when I publish it, where I'm going to actually take content from the page and display information while querying an API, information about it there. So I'm going to do that in a coding challenge soon. Thanks for watching. Oh my God, it's already 5:20? Now here's the thing, this is actually really driving me crazy, this delay. I just want to see if I unplug and plug back in, if it fixes it. So I'm unplugging. No. So that delay is happening somewhere else. I probably would have to restart the computer, which I'm not going to do because it'll cause the stream to end. So hopefully everything is just fine. Ooh, yes, that's right. Since I did inner HTML instead of text content, I can actually type stuff in there. All right. Boy, I'm exhausted. It's been a long week. All right. So let me think. I like the idea of doing this coding challenge. So let me look at my list here. So at least I did these two things. I could do quickly the tab override. It's like the simplest thing in the world. I might as well make a video for that. I don't actually even, yeah, inner HTML is, yeah, security nightmare, but you know, whatever. Maybe I should, little addendum there. I don't know if I should need to do an addendum, but tab override, let me look at that. I feel like that's the easiest thing in the world to do. Chrome extension, override. Yeah, this is like the easiest thing in the world to do. You just use the Chrome URL override. Let's do that, because that's going to be like a short simple, quick video. And then I might need a short break. And then I'm going to do a couple coding challenges and just see what else I can manage today. All right, can I remember this? Chrome_URL overrides, new tab. I really need this break. This is going to make me have to pee. So this is definitely going to make this tutorial go quickly. I think I also might have had too much caffeine, which is really a problem for me. All right, so. I'm going to get that. In a way, what I kind of want to do is actually use the WordNick API and just get like the word of the day or something. But let me just, you know what? I'm just going to show how to do this. I can use the let me do this simple content script one. 06 tab override. I'm just trying to think, like, what could I put as the content? Yeah, thank you. Developer.chrome.com/extensions /override. Yeah, I'm just going to do a P5 sketch, and it'll just do something silly, like count. Oh, you can replace any of these other things too. New tab, bookmarks, history. Fascinating, fascinating. Yeah, so here it is. All right. History, new tab. Great, great. Great, 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 great. All right. Wonderful. And let's get rid of this one. And let's go to tab override. And I'm going to leave all this here. Okay. Display, oh yes, great idea. Kitten override, that's a great idea. I love that idea. So let me just get like the sketch here. So it's there. Oh, I never fixed that. People are going to go crazy. Kittens. Then let me get the kitten images. I'm just going to call these like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So I'm setting this up, and here we go. All right. This is really, I think my green thing here, I guess I have to lower this a little bit. Like the keying is a little bit problematic today, but hopefully it's fine. You know what this needs to be? Maybe if this turns over a little bit and points a little bit down. Is that better? Okay, I've got one more, probably more than that, but at least one more thing to show you about Chrome extensions. I'm going to show you about overrides. What is an override? So first of all, if you use the Chrome browser and you ever hit Command-T or New Tab, you get this default page which has a Google search and like shows some recent web pages that you've been to. This is something you can override. You can create your own web page that appears for a new tab. And there are lots of examples of Chrome extensions that you can get that show you pretty nice things and daily affirmations and stuff like that. You can also override the history page and, well, something else. So where do you find out information about this? I'll include a link to this in this video's description. This is the documentation for override pages. So you can override the bookmark page, the history page, and the new tab page. I'm going to override just the new tab page. And the way that we do this is by adding this code here to the manifest.json. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to go to the manifest.json for a new Chrome extension. I'm going to get rid of the content script. I just copied one of my previous ones. I don't need a content script as part of this. And actually, it wouldn't make sense to have a new tab override that also had a content script. I don't think. And I want to override new tab. And what I want to do is point to my HTML page. And I happen to have, associated with this project, this is my example number 6, a folder called sketch. And this is a P5 sketch and has an index.html page. So what I want to say is sketch/index.html. I am going to just say function setup, create canvas, 200, 200, background 0, and I'm going to say, I'm going to add something here like h1. Here's a kitten, because maybe we'll make a new, so I'm going to add some stuff to the HTML and to the JavaScript just to see that this works. Now what I'm going to do is go to my extensions page. I am going to load the extension. I want to load my example number 6. Great, I got an error. What is my error? Looks like I have an extra comma here, and it's telling me that I don't have valid JSON. So I should be able to go back to my manifest.json, get rid of that comma, hit save, try to then say retry. That worked. And now I should open a new page. Yep. So every time I open a new tab, I get that web page. So let's make it do something a little more interesting. Let's say, let's actually not have a canvas. You obviously have an animation. I'm going to say no canvas. I'm going to say r equals a random number between 1 and 6. Because I actually want, I'm going to say between 0 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0 and 5. What I have is, and then I'm going to say create image kittens / r plus .jpg. So what you might notice is that I have a folder called kittens with 5 images of kittens, all named 1 through 5. So I probably should have started naming them with 0, but I can just add 1 to it. So I want to create a DOM element, which is a kitten image, and show it on the page. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to, and we might have an issue. We're waiting to see what happens. I'm going to reload the extension. I'm going to make a new tab. Oh, whoa, and it worked. Well, now here's the thing. I should probably size it. And I'm just going to say image.size, window width, window height, image.position, 0, 0. So, this is some silly, I should probably be more thoughtful about CSS and all that, but I'm just going to use some P5 code to size the image to the page. And maybe I'll get rid of the here's a kitten message. Now I'm going to reload again, and now make a new tab. Every time I make a new tab, I get a different kitten. Yay! So this is how you do a override. So now the world is your kitten, oyster. Think of what you might make, something that checks today's weather, if you want to make something practical, something that shows something beautiful, something that reminds you of an important message, anything that you can think of, anything you can make a web page, you can make as the new tab override. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like. I'm supposed to say that at the end of the video. This was a short one, so maybe you might actually hear me say that. Boy, everyone's telling me about how horrible my CSS skills are, which is absolutely true. I'm really losing steam here. 5:30. Yeah, document.body.style.background equals URL kitten.jpg. Yes. But the point of what I'm showing is not the efficient way to make a kitten the background. I'm just showing you can have a P5 sketch, or any web page. I need to drink some water. I'm going to take a short break. I'm going to play the This Dot song. I'm going to play the This Dot song. I'm going to mute my microphone. And I'm going to leave you with kittens. This kitten, I guess. I'm going to take a short break, and I'm going to come back. Let's look at our. Let me sort of figure out what I want to do for. In the next half an hour that I have. So I got through these three things. So things that I could do are the coding challenge that looks up something on WordNick, which I think could be interesting. I'm going to skip the Omnibox thing, definitely at least today. I should investigate like how to make a Firefox extension. I'm really not prepared to do that. But I can at least maybe look at that a little bit. WebGL, let's see. All right, so let me take a break here. Actually, let's do, let me at least put up a little straw poll thing. So see what people are interested in. Options. Word, by the way, the word lookup Chrome extension involves we'll need a background script and a content script and a pop-up, which I haven't done at all. So that's kind of interesting. WordNick lookup extension. WebGL revisited. What else do I have on this list that I could do? That's kind of, those are my two things I would like to do, and maybe I'll just, yeah. And then I'm just gonna, whatever. I'm just curious. This is now, it's silly that I'm doing this straw poll because I think I'm just gonna try to do both of these. But if I only had time for one, which would you prefer? I kind of want to be done with the Chrome extensions. No straw poll, everybody. I feel like if I do that last Chrome extension coding challenge, I can be done with Chrome extensions. I can talk about generic browser extensions for Firefox and even try to make one. And then that might actually be it for today. Yeah, connection to any API in a pop-up. That's super interesting. It's going to open up a lot of ideas. So I'm going to mute my microphone. You won't hear from me. I'm going to put on some music. See if I can pee.
As always, I always forget the this dot, this dot, this dot, this dot. I'm going to do this dot, this dot. I'm going to do this dot, this dot, this dot. I'm going to do this dot, this dot. I'm going to do dot, this dot, this dot, this dot, this dot song. This dot, this dot, this dot. Never forget this dot, this dot, this dot, this dot, this dot song. This dot, this dot, this dot. Never forget this dot, this dot, this dot, this dot. I'm gonna do this dot, this dot. I'm gonna do this dot, this dot, this dot. I'm gonna do this dot, this dot. I'm gonna do dot, this dot, this dot, this dot. I'm gonna do this dot, this dot. I'm gonna do this dot, this dot, this dot. I'm gonna do this dot, this dot. I'm gonna do this dot, this dot, this dot, this dot song. This dot, this dot, this dot. Never forget this dot. This dot, this dot, this dot. Never forget this dot. I'm gonna do the this dot, this dot, this dot, this dot, the this dot song. Never forget the this dot. Somebody compose that song for me.
All right, I'm back. I realized what I should do is play, I forgot that I can play my crazy trailer thing, which is this thing, which now you can hear me talking over while you take a break. But I'm not going to play this right now. You can go and find that video on the homepage of my channel. Oh, persistent data with local storage. Oh, such a good idea. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm not going to get much. Let me add that. Can I? Oh, I'm logged in as myself. That's good. So I'm absolutely not. I don't think I'm going to get that today, but I do think that would be worth. So I'm going to do API lookup and persistent data with local storage. I actually, so I would like to do that. I want it to be done with Chrome extensions, but that would be worth looking at sometime. So let's commit these changes. All right, everybody. So what I need to do now is I need to give myself kind of like a basic template. I'm going to use the pop-ups one. Whoops. Copy. Can I just do like this or something? Yeah, there we go. 07. I need something to perk me up here. I know what it'll be. Oh no, not this one. Okay. We are now doing word nick. So I need to be prepared. So coding train, so I can leave all this actually, because I'm going to revise it in the tutorial. There's this, there's that, but and then there's sketch. So, oh, boy, I'm gonna have to look up how to receive the message. It's fine, I'm gonna. But I do need my API key. So where can I get that? If I go to API's data, word nick, word info, hopefully my API key is still valid. All right. Okay. Oh, WordNick has a public key? That's good to know. I don't mind using mine, though. I can always change it or regenerate it or something. Drink a little water. I'm sorry, but usually I definitely don't have energy. Good thing I have to leave around 6 because I'm really running out of energy. But let's definitely at least make this. This is going to take longer than 20 minutes. But because there's a lot of stuff I'm going to have to look up. Because I don't know any of this off the top of my head. But let's go close all this. And this, and refresh this. Okay. All right, here we go. Welcome to a coding challenge. In this coding challenge, I am going to attempt to make a Chrome extension where you can, let me start over again. It's a good web page to be on for this. Let's just go to Wikipedia. How about a steam train? Steam locomotive. Okay. All right. Hello, welcome to a coding challenge. In this coding challenge, I am going to attempt to make a Chrome extension that allows you to highlight any word and then press a button up in the corner of the browser, and it will open up a pop-up and show you the definition of that word. So I need a lot of pieces to this here. If I come back to my diagram here of all the pieces of the Chrome extension, and I can't look at a diagram without a marker, what I need, oh, do I even need a content script? I just realized that I don't think I need a content script for this. Amazingly, I wanted to have come up with an idea where I needed all three of these, but I'm realizing that I think the background script can determine what it is you've highlighted on the page, because that's kind of a browser action, but it's not really a part of the page. That's kind of something that you're doing with the browser itself. You're highlighting some word. And then I need the background script to send a message to the pop-up. I guess I could affect the content script, so this will be an exercise for you. I'm going to put the results in the pop-up, but you could do something when you highlight a page. You actually just create a little div overlay wherever that word is or something that shows the definition. But I'm going to put that information in a pop-up, and the pop-up is going to go and query an API like WordNick and look for the definition of that word. Okay. Did you guys hear that? Because I just burped. Sometimes, some days, Google Dictionary, that's the one I use. Okay. All right, so I'm not going to code from nothing here because I'm really tired. I don't have a lot of time. So I'm going to use the code that I had at the end of my pop-ups tutorial, which is which I'll link to in this video's description. So actually, what I don't need. I'm going to remove the content script. I do need to add a background script. I think I do this. How do I do that? I think this is just the name of the background script. I'll have to look that up. And I want to call this. WordNick lookup. Okay. Let me double check one of my old examples. Whoop, that's not that one. Hold on. Give me a second here. I can do this, everybody. Yes, I can. I'm going to go back and look at one of my background script examples. And, oh, this is what it looks like. I just blanked. I don't have this stuff memorized. So to add a background script, it needs to look like this. So I now have a background.js, and I have a browser action that look up a word. And it's going to go to this particular sketch. So first, let me actually just see if what I can make happen is I can just, if I select a word and I press the pop-up, I see that word in the pop-up. I just want to make sure that that happens. So let me try that. All right. So what I'm going to do is, okay, in the background script, I think what I need is an event for when I highlight a word. And actually, I'm pretty sure this event is, I can actually just use the mouse up event. So what I need to look for is Chrome extension mouse up event. So it's really window.mouse up. I think this is going to work for me. Is it just a regular event listener? Hold on, timeout. I don't like that I'm doing this coding challenge anymore. Get event listeners. Oh, it's not the right place. Oh, look at this. Actually, look at this. Here's a Google group with someone actually asking this question, probably. Capture selected text when the extension button is clicked. This is exactly what I'm trying to do. This is way too much. Oh, interesting. I guess I could do this in the content script. Oh. Oh, maybe I need to do this in the content. Timeout, everybody. I'm sorry. I'm going to look at my example. I'm the worst. I really don't know this stuff. I should prepare for this. I made this example like 2 years ago. I'm just going to look at it. So this is the one that I think I do the wordnik thing. And I do have a background script and a content script because actually, I should just start over. Ah, of course. I need the mouse up on the content page. Then I send that to the background script because I cannot send a message from the content script to the pop-up. I can't send the message to the pop-up because the pop-up might not be open. So I send it to the background script, and then the background script receives that message and puts it in a global variable. This was the trick that I was going to show. And receives it, and then I think I should just start over. Let me just start this tutorial. And then in the pop-up, whoops. It actually, there's a way to get, chrome.extension.getBackgroundPage.word. Okay. All right, everybody. We're going to start over. We're just going to do this again. It's going to be awesome. So I do need a background script. I do need a content script. And, okay. Ready, everybody? Document.getSelection and window.getSelection both exist. All right, anybody who's in the Slack channel who wants to feed me lines of code to enter, I'm like, now I've just given up. It's like anybody can help me out here. I'm going to make this happen. Okay. What I prefer about Firefox over Chrome is history management features and UI. Interesting discussions going on here. All right. Here we go. Welcome to a coding challenge where I really need I don't know when you're watching this, in the future, in the past, on a spaceship, on your phone, but I need some good vibes right now. I'm going to try to make, this is going to be a hard one for me. I'm going to make a Chrome extension that allows you to, on any web page, like this Steam Locomotive Wikipedia page, select some text and look up the definition of a word that you've selected. I'm going to use the wordnik API, and I'm going to have the definition appear in a pop-up. Now, we could make some case that this is not like the most thoughtful and elegant user interaction. And so my challenge for you after I do this is there's probably a nicer way to do this. Like should you actually just have the definition pop up right there? What's a more elegant user interaction? I can't even think of it. But the reason why I want to do this is because this particular idea requires all the pieces that I've shown you in my tutorials. It requires a content script. A content script, it knows about the page, is going to be able to listen for the event of me selecting some text. It requires a pop-up because I say so, because I want to show the definition in the pop-up. So in theory, all that it requires is the content script and the pop-up, because why not just send a message from the content script to the pop-up? The problem is, I can't guarantee that the pop-up is open. I probably could open the pop-up automatically. So I'm not going to open the pop-up automatically. That's a challenge to you if that's even possible. I'm going to select the text. I'm going to send the selected text to the background script. By the way, I was talking about this earlier. That's why this whiteboard already has some notes about this. Then the background script is going to hold on to that selected text. The pop-up is going to get it from the background script. It's going to go out to wordnik, and it's going to show the results. All right? I can do it. I can do it. I'm going to do it. All right, so let's work on this. I'm going to open up my chat that's going here just in case anybody can help me out. The first thing I might need from the chat is how I get the selected text in the content script. But actually, before I even get to that, let me look at what's going on here. So I need a content script. I've got that. Permissions, tabs, and that actually might be unnecessary. So let's just take that out right now. I don't think I'm using that. I need a browser action, which is going to look up a definition. So I'm going to put that as a little message, definition. And then I need a background script. Is this right? Background.js. Is it script? Is it scripts? Something is definitely wrong here. Ooh boy. No, not an array, an object, right? Oh, let's just look at one of my previous ones. Background scripts. Oh boy, I had it way wrong. I was way wrong. Okay, so adding a background script, I need background, which has scripts, and then an array of JavaScript files that are part of the background script. Okay, so now I have a background script, and by the way, the code base that I'm starting with is from the end of my pop-ups tutorial. So I'll link to that video in this description. So if you actually want to like, what's the code that I started with, you can watch that video, and wherever I ended, that's this code. Okay, but there's very little in it. The web page, the pop-up has nothing in it. I'm using the P5 library, so just setup and no canvas. And the background script, it actually has some code in it from a while ago, which I think I'm going to get rid of because that's no longer relevant. I'm going to leave the, but yeah, so okay, so here we go. And the content script has some other code as well. So I'm going to actually get rid of all this. It's a very terrible idea. So first, let me at least get the selected text in the content script. Okay, so I think I want to say like document dot event. What is it? Somebody told me document dot get selection, a mouse up. I want the mouse up event in the content script. This will be an edit point. Nobody, you guys didn't listen to my instructions and feed me the code that I need at the time that I need it. It's a good thing the camera went off now anyway. What's the event, the mouse up event? I can't remember this stuff, and especially not today as my brain is melted. Yeah, Alessandro is saying in the chat, I believe a better way of doing this would be when you open the pop-up, send a message to the content script asking for the selected word, which will answer back to the pop-up in the selected word. Yeah, that's actually, so I'm going to mention that. Okay, window on, mouse up. Okay. All right, so, okay. All right, so by the way, in the chat I'm being told a better way of doing this would be when you open the pop-up, send a message to the content script asking for the selected word, and then send that back. So that's actually true. I'm going to still do this in a ridiculous way because I want to show you some other pieces of how you can have the background and the pop-up talk to each other, but that is a better way to do it. You should fix my code after I'm done. So the first thing that I need is window.add event listener. This is a way for me to listen for by the way, I'm looking at the chat here as people are giving me some of this code here. Mouse up. And then I need a callback, which I could write in a fancy way, but I'm just going to say, I'm going to say moused up. Function, worst name ever for a function. So now, if that event happens, what I want to do is get the selection. So I want to say the selected text is window dot, I think it's just got get selection. Let me just console log that. So what this should do is get the, all I should see is a console log of what's been selected. Yeah, and I like this. Word selected. It's going to be a problem if you select more than a word, but let's That was a good name. Thank you, Simon. All right. Window.getSelection. Okay. So now, oh, I've got to load my extension. Load my extension. WordNick. It's called WordNick. It's working. I mean, it's there. I'm going to go to this page. I'm going to open up the console, and I'm going to listen for this. So that event is not happening. Let's see here. Refresh the page. Chrome extension go. So that is happening. So what did I miss here? Window, add event, listener, mouse up. Well, let's just see if this has even happened. Oh, wait. OK, hold on. The window.getSelection must be wrong. Let's see at least if like, let me just console log word selected. I'm sure window.getSelection is totally wrong. So let me reload the extension. Yeah. Oh, and I'm having a weird thing where I'm either not reloading or refreshing properly because I'm getting more stuff happen. So word selected, and then it's actually selected text. So selected text is an object selection, and what I want is the anchor node. There's got to be a way, node value through there's got to be a way for me to just get it without having this giant object. But whole text content is probably what I want. So selected text, anchor text, whole content. Let's try that. Or maybe I want just text content. All right, let's see. Was that something? Text content. Yeah. So let's see if this is right. Now, let me just be really careful here. Save. Then I'm going to go here and do a refresh. And by the way, let me rename the extension so I know what's going on. So the extension should be called Word Lookup. Okay. I haven't looked at you in a while. I've been really focused on my screen. Apologies. Hi, thank you for watching this. So let me reload the extension, change the name. Okay. Now I'm going to come back to here, clear this, refresh this page. I'm going to find a word to select. Okay. Undefined at word selected. So I clearly didn't look through that object carefully enough. I'm going to pause here for a second. Where's all the people correcting me? Word selected. All right, so I have to go back. That's so sad. Hold on. What I can do is I don't know why all of a sudden today, like, the screen dimensions seem totally wrong for me. We're going to have to do some heavy editing on this. I'm going to go back. I think just having one error and then fixing it, I obviously typed in the wrong thing here, so I'll debug this, but I'm going to get the correct. All right, let me look at this again. Selection dot anchor node. Is there another place? Anchor node dot. Whoa, that's whole text. I don't want that. I'm sure there's an easier way to do this. Just do toString. Oh, interesting. Does that actually work? Is that what I did? toString. Yes, that's what I did. So you can see here that the selection is this whole elaborate object thing, and I just spent some time, which you might have watched or I might have edited out, I'm not sure, of me trying to like find the text in there. But thank you, I just realized, thank you to Alka in the chat, that I can actually just say toString. And what that's going to do, it's going to take the selected text, instead of giving me the full object about the selection, it's just going to give me the actual text and put it right there. So let's go back. Reload this extension, refresh the page, select and, there we go, and we're middle, right? You can see that I'm getting stuff selected. Wonderful. Okay, now what I need to do is, once I've selected something, I want to send this information to the background page. Okay, so first thing, let's get rid of this console log. And let me first check if selected text.length is greater than 0. So I could have a mouse up where there's no actual selected text. So I want to make sure there's at least something there. And then I need to send a message. I'm looking for my notes about all the different ways to do things. In a content script, if I want to send a message, all I need to do, I think I could just do, because I don't need to send it to a tab, I want to send it to the background script, I can probably use chrome.runtime. Edit point as I look this up. I should really just have this. You know what? Why am I doing this? I should just put this on the computer over here. I'm being silly. I'm looking at the chat, and all I need to do is do what everybody always says that I do, that I don't do, but I'm actually going to do it now, which is just put the code that I need over here. Because this is not working with me. There's just, my brain is not coming up with this stuff on the fly. Yeah, it's so much simpler than I think. It's just the runtime send message. Okay. Okay, so all I need, I was right. I am right, I think. I just need to say chrome.runtime send message. This is a generic way, and is runtime lowercase? Let me look at some notes somewhere. Lowercase, yeah. So this is a generic way to just send a message, and it's going to go to the background script. And I can make the message an object, and I could say the text is selected text. So I want to send that message. So now what I'm doing is, whenever I select a word, send that message to the background script. Okay, we're sending a message to the background script. So now I need to write some code in the background script to receive the message. And I have that somewhere. I'm pretty sure, actually, this is the easy part, because I can use chrome.runtime.onMessage add listener receiver. So I'm going to write a function called receiver, which is going to, so I now want the background script to just listen for messages. So I need to add a listener, and that function receiver, it takes a bunch of arguments, like the request, the sender, and the send response, because if you want to send something back. But all I really need to do is look at what's in the request. So I think I'm just going to say console.log request, because I just want to see what's in there. That's where the message should come in. Okay. Save everything, close a bunch of scripts, save everything, go to extensions, reload, click here. Oh, content script has a syntax error. Line 10. I always do this. I really have a problem with JavaScript object notation. There's no semicolon here. I should probably put a semicolon there. Okay, I'm going to hit refresh. And oh wait, I have to reload. Oh, boy, how much are you just watching me reload and refresh? Refresh. Okay, so now I'm going to click this. I see the word majority. Now the question is, if I inspect the background page, there it is. Came in text majority. Yes! So I have now the message from the content script to the background script. Okay. So now in the background script, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do something really kind of terrible. I'm going to say let word equal, and I'm just give it an empty string. I'm going to say word equals request dot, what did I call it? Text. So I'm actually just going to store the result in a global variable. There may be some reason why I don't want to do this, but here's why I'm doing this. Because, and actually let's just put something, I just want to put something in here. I'm just going to put coding train. I'm going to start Word because there is a way that I can access variables from a background script from the pop-up without actually sending a message. So in other words, what I can do, so of course what I could do is when I open the pop-up, again, it would make more sense for when I open the pop-up to send a message to say the background script asking for the answer, or more directly, I could just send a message from the pop-up to the content script. So all this background script is kind of unnecessary, but it is a useful trick just to see that I can do this. In the content script, what I can do, hold on here. Just looking at something. This is going to be an edit point. Oh. Yeah. In the content script, what I can actually do, in the pop-up. In the pop-up, what I can actually do is I can say, let Word equal chrome.extension.get background page. So if I say, let me actually just say let background bg page. So I can actually access the background page, and then the word is bgpage.word. I think I could just go and access a variable that's within the background page's scope. So something that I've emphasized is that the content script, the background script, the pop-up, they all live with their own scope, but I can access the background script's scope and pull variables out. So let me do that, and all I'm going to do is say create p word. So let's see if I've made a mistake here. Let's see if this is working. And I'm going to close this. I'm going to, reload this. I'm going to refresh this page, and I'm just going to click the button. Ooh, whoa, undefined. So I did something wrong. So first of all, I forgot that I had some stray code in the index.html. So I'm going to say, call this wordnick lookup. Get rid of this. So what did I get wrong here? Chrome extension, get background. You know, I wonder if using let is a problem, because I wonder if I'm making use of sort of like goofy thing. Let me just make sure this really didn't work, because I'm having a problem with making sure I refresh. Yeah, it's still saying undefined there. So let me just change that to, in the background script, let me change this to var. Let me change this to var. Let me reload. Let me refresh and do this. Yeah, look at that. Oh boy. I don't like what's going on here. I'm going to look at the Slack channel here. Somebody tell me if what I'm doing is toString.trim. I should need to trim. I should also trim the text. Okay. Window.word. Thank you, Alka. All right. The problem is here, because I'm using let, which is a wonderful thing. Let is a wonderful thing. But let is locally scoped in a much stronger way than the old var thing with this. And I don't want to get into that now. I've got a whole video about let and var. But what I want to do, if I really want to make this global, which is probably a bad idea, I can say window.word. So if I say window.word, and I guess I need to do that here too, window.word, I can put something in a more global scope attached to the window object of the background page. There's actually this like secret background page. It's a weird thing, you don't see it, but it's actually a page. And so now what I should be able to do is, once again, reload the page, refresh the page. I might not need to actually refresh. I'm going to select locomotives. I'm going to do this, and then look at that. Locomotives is there. So all I need to do is query WordNick now. We're in good shape now. I now have, what do I have? I have a content script that listens to me selecting some text. It sends a message to the background script. The background script stores it in a global variable for itself, and the pop-up asks the background script for its variable. Again, not a really sort of awkward, inelegant way of doing this, but to show all these pieces. So coming back over here, okay. One thing. I could have said var word, by the way, but the reason why I'm saying window.word, and actually, I wanted to, once I do that, I can probably just do this, right? I'm saying window.word because I want to avoid using var, which is sort of silly. Okay, a couple things. One is I should trim the text, because it can sometimes end up having like white space and stuff in it. So I'm going to call .trim, which will get rid of any extra like weird white space stuff. And now what I need to do is look up the stuff on WordNick. So this is a little bit out of the, so let's go to the WordNick. So I'm going to go to the WordNick API. And I'm going to go to the documentation. What I want is the definition of a word. So if I look up a word, I can ask for its definitions. And let's say I'm looking up the word apple, and I just want one definition. I don't care about part of speech, include related. I don't need include related. And I'll take all the sources, whatever. So I'm going to try it out. So this is the call. This is the request URL that I need. And then the definition is in an array. Oh boy. Oh boy. The definition is in an array, and it comes under text. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this request URL, and what I can do in the sketch here, I can say let URL equal. Can you guys hear the people talking in the hallway? And actually, all I need to do is, what I need is, I'm going to split this into two. Because what I want, ooh, what happened here? Oh, what I need is to put the word in between. So this is a kind of awkward way of doing this, but I need to form this big URL. And I should use this ES6 thing that's new. Let me show you this in this video because it would be really useful here. I think I could say backtick, right? Someone's going to help me. I'm going to need some help with this. So I'm going to, I'm going to use, I think if I say backtick, I'm going to get rid of all these quotes. Then there's a way I can actually break it up over multiple lines and just do backtick again, right? Hold on. Someone's going to tell me how to do this backtick thing. Oh, yeah. And then $sign word. Okay. But I seem to have the backticks wrong. Okay. I can use back. So something is wrong. Oops. Something is wrong here in that. Oh, I have this here. Shouldn't be here. I thought I could do it over multiple lines. Let me see if I'm still, oh, I have too many backticks. Can I do it over multiple lines? I know that's, I'm just trying to do it over multiple lines, which I guess is silly. Let me go back. Yes, backtick takes multiple lines. All right, so let's try this. Is this now, this is not, something is wrong with this syntax anyway. Let URL equals this. Right, what's going on here? Why is the syntax highlighting so weird? Oh, it's highlighting a URL. Okay, thank you. Okay. All right, I'm going to attempt to use a new feature that's part of JavaScript ES6, which allows me to form a string by embedding the variable inside the string. And instead of using single quotes, I'm going to get rid of all of the single quotes. And everything's going to look like a disaster right now. Get rid of all these single quotes. And then I'm going to use backtick. Backtick, backtick. So this is now correct. It's a little bit weirdly syntax highlighted because, just to emphasize that how this is working, this is kind of useful. I could actually write it like this. Like I can really see all this stuff. So this is really useful to be able to break a URL, break a string over multiple lines. And what I want to come right after here is that's where I had the word apple. So I can now say, I think it's $ bracket, curly brackets word. So $ curly brackets word. This is now like fill in the value of this variable as part of this URL. So I should be able to say load JSON that URL. Then I can have a callback like got data. I can write that function, got data. One of these days I'll start using the arrow syntax and stuff and anonymous functions for the callbacks, but got data, data. And then now I just want to say create P, data index 0. So if we remember what was here, it's data, it's an array, index 0 dot text. So I just want to get the first definition because I'm only getting one. Data index 0 dot text. So this should be it, right? Now my P5 sketch grabs the word from the background page, forms this long URL to request stuff from WordNick, uses the P5 load JSON to grab the data and show the result. Okay, here we go. Here we go. There's got to be something wrong here, but so first, reload the page, refresh this page. I'm even going to get find a word to highlight, like number. Didn't work. All right, so let's see where things went wrong. Server responded with a status of 404. So what is wrong here? Let's look at this URL. I probably made a mistake in the URL. One way for me to do that is just to put it here in Atom. So let's see. HTTP. Oh, look at this. I got some weird. There's an extra semicolon in there. That's bad. There's also extra spaces. How come my trim didn't get rid of the spaces? So one thing here is a couple things I need to fix for sure. Let's go back to my code. I had this semicolon in there, which is totally unnecessary, which totally messed everything up. And let's just trim it here also. I thought I trimmed it over there, but I'm going to trim it. Oh, it adds new line at the end of the string? Does it add the new lines? Are the new lines in there? I kind of feel like it's okay. I don't think the new lines are going to be a problem. Okay. Oh, I might need to replace. All right, so I'm being told, breaking news, I'm being told, let's just put this in here to be safe. Replace any new lines with nothing. So I'm just putting this in multiple lines just so I can make it more readable, but obviously it can be on one line. But just in case those new lines are going into the URL and messing it up, let's do that. All right, let's reload the page, refresh here. I am going to select railways, going to click here. Okay, that didn't work, but let's see what happens now. Console, the server is, there's like another semicolon. Look at this, there's another semicolon, right? Unauthorized, because I stuck a silly extra semicolon. So many semicolons. Ooh, that didn't work. So let's get rid of these spaces that I don't know why they're in there. Might have to do my own trim. API WordNick page cannot be found. Is it HTTPS? So why is this not working? Oh, there's other weird, oh, the spaces are because of the new, they're not from the trim. They're from the new line. That's, oh, these spaces are being added. These are spaces. Oh, I'm really losing. So let's actually make this a regular expression. This is so ridiculous. You know what I'm going to do? So I can fix this, but I probably should just put it all in one line. That would be so much better. What if this is such a coding train wreck? But what I'm going to do is I'll make a regular expression that takes any new line or any white space. Is new line a white space? Any white space, any amount of white space, and replaces it with nothing. Let's try this. All right, reload, refresh, select number, inspect element, console. That semicolon is still there. Oh, because I didn't get rid of the semicolon. Ah, all right. One more try. One more try. Come on, everybody. This is going to work. I don't know what to play. I have nothing to play. I'm feeling good about this. I just got a little dizzy all of a sudden. Okay, all right. Reload the extension. Are you with me? Refresh the page. Select number. Oh my God. Boy, I'm really bad at debugging this. I really should there's probably got to be much more careful. Yeah. Oh, there's still some white space. So why is the white space still in there? All right. Because the new line, can I do this? Let's look at the chat. Oh, I need the global. I need the global flag. I need the global. Thank you. Breaking news. I'm being told that I've forgotten that regular expressions, when you use the replace function, they only replace the first thing you find unless you use the global flag. So I'm going to go back to white space, any white space, replace it, and if this doesn't work, I'm putting it all in one line. Okay, you can't stop me. I'm going to put it all in one line. All right. Here we go. Here we go, everybody. Here we go. Here we go. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to go reload. And I'm going to go to the steam locomotive page. And I'm going to select locomotive. I press this button. Ah! Oh my goodness! Yeah. A self-propelled vehicle, usually electric or diesel-powered, for pulling or pushing freight or passenger cars on railroad tracks. So now I can go over here, and I can open up and I can see here for early. And one thing that I would like to do is I would just like to say .style, font size, 64. Now I wonder if all I'm doing is changing the pop-up. Do I have to reload the whole? I probably have to reload the whole extension, right? 64 point. Or let's make it like 48 point. Is it text size or font size? I just want it to be bigger. I just want it to be. I assume. Yeah, look at that. So interestingly enough, if I'm just changing the code in the pop-up, I don't actually need to reload the whole extension because it's kind of loading that on the fly, which is weird how that worked. And also, this is not really, how do I make the size bigger of the actual pop-up? That's probably, I'm too tired to do that. Somebody will write it in the comments. Hold on, time out. I'm gonna go away for a second and come back. How do I make the pop-up bigger? Please add text if heading. Also, can you leave pop-up open until manually closed? The information about Newcastle is incorrect. Like, can I just do something like body? Like, what determines the, oh, because, oh, I know. The page, okay. So I'm pretty sure that if I want that pop-up to be bigger, to give me more space, it's actually going to dynamically size it based on what it is when the page first loads. But because I'm getting the data from WordNick later, it's not resizing. So I could probably say body and then do something like width, window resize by. Oh, I could do window resize. So like, I don't know. You guys would know, who know CSS would know this stuff better. Like, can I do something like this? And this has to be in a style tag. And according to my research, according to my excellent research, I don't need to reload the extension. Refresh the page. Yeah, so look at that. There we go. So now I can click on locomotive, and I get that. I can click on America, and I get the United States. I can click on obtain. Now again, this is like the worst, most awkward interaction. Somehow, if you're still watching this video, first of all, thank you. I really appreciate it. This has been a big struggle for me. Even though I made an example like this 2 years ago, this was quite hard to do on the fly live, even though you're seeing kind of an edited version of this. I did do this live. But I would like you to think about what is a more elegant interaction. How might you want to augment someone's browsing experience to learn about additional context? So this could actually be a practical tool, or you could just do something kind of goofy, and when you select a word, you know, it shows you maybe it shows you an image associated with that word or something. So I look forward to, I will share some Chrome extensions next time I come back on a live stream of people who have like made more elegant interactions. So please write your, send me a link to your Chrome extension in the comments, or tweet me at Schiffman, something like that. But this is certainly the end of this video. Thank you, and good night. Fade out. Okay. So at 6:30, I think I'm done. I put a fork. I did not get to things that I wanted to do. Let's look at our list. Let's look at my list. But I did persevere and get through, kind of in a way, everything I wanted to do about Chrome extensions. I would love to do a Chrome extension that like just modifies people's tweets and says something nice to you, but I'm not going to do that right now. So okay. I'm not leaving. I would be here for a little bit longer against my better judgment. I'm going to do Firefox. So first of all, do I even have Firefox on this computer? I have no idea how to do this. No, don't import anything. No, don't make it the default. So just looking at this, am I like in a way out of date? Am I in a way out of date version or anything? My Firefox is out of date. Update Firefox. About Firefox. Wait, hold on. About Fire will open Firefox and begin checking for updates and downloading them automatically. Oh. Should be updating it, right? Is it doing it? What's the quantum thing? Should I try that quantum thing? Isn't there like a quantum? Quantum. Let's get quantum. I mean, quantum leap. Maybe Scott Bakula will show up. $57. Whoa, that was really. Ha! I have 57. Replace. Oh, no. To Shiftman browser extension. Yeah. Okay. This video, I think we should do this with no editing. Doesn't matter how long it takes me, how much I need from the chat. Because if I do this, I think I can be done with Chrome extensions. I could always come back to it, but all right. Hello. I'm very excited to do this video for you. It's a little bit scary because I'm going to attempt to do something in this video that I have no idea how to do, and I've never looked at it before. But I did receive this tweet from Nicholas, who writes, "Hey Daniel, could you say browser or web extension? Most of the major browsers have the same set of APIs, so making a cross-browser extension is easily doable. See this link." So it is true that this idea of an extension is not something limited to the Chrome browser. And I've been saying Chrome extension all this time because it's what I'm familiar with and what I've used before. But this idea of an extension can be thought of in a larger, broader way as a browser extension. There is a uniform standard API from the Mozilla Foundation. We can look at it here for browser extensions. So could I possibly, in this video, take one of my extensions I made, like the kitten one, and just make it work in Firefox as a browser extension? This is what I'm going to attempt to do. And I hope that people, you might be watching this as a edited version, but this is happening live, and I'm really relying on the chat. There's a YouTube chat, and there's a Slack channel going on here, and I'm going to follow and watch. So, okay, so what do I do first? Anybody have any? So your first extension, let's look at that. I think I could skip what are extensions. Oh, so I need a manifest.json. Hey, look at this. It looks like I've done this already. So actually, I have a feeling, I don't know if the chicken or the egg came first, but I do know that I like a vegetarian omelet. It's quite delicious. And I can't be vegan, obviously, because eggs aren't, but anyway, I like vegetables. Am I really talking about that? No. But this looks like so much. So let me just go get is it possible that I could just run my extension in Firefox? I don't actually recode it at all. So let's go to these are all the extensions that I've made. With the exception of the first, which is a bookmark. Content script, background script, the kittens one, the sketch one, the pop-ups. Let's try the kittens one. let's try the kittens one. So I'm going to just make it a new folder. Oops. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to call it 08 browser kittens. In case I have to change some aspects of it, let's leave that. So it's just a content script with a folder of kittens and a manifest.json. All right. So let's see here. How do I load an extension? Extensions, Firefox, extensions. That doesn't work. Add-ons for Firefox. Where do I go? So these are extensions I can get. How do I add a developer one? I'm waiting for somebody in the chat to tell me. Cross-browser kittens. Everybody should make cross-browser. Cute, wonderful kittens. I'm still looking at I'm waiting. All right, I'm going to look myself. Unpacked extension Firefox. Open Firefox, enter about debugging in the URL bar, click load temporary add-on. So that seems like what I have to do. About debugging. There we go. Enable add-on debugging? Sure. Load temporary add-on. Kittens. Where are the kittens? Where are the kittens? Desktop, extensions, browser kittens. Open. Open. No. Do I just select the manifest.json file? All right, it's there. It says Chrome. That's the worst. So let me at least fix that. Let me go to the manifest.json and say browser. This is now a browser extension. And if you want to watch the video where I programmed this extension, I'll link to it in this video's description. So now let me reload, and then it should be running. How about just go to shiftmin.net. Oh, it worked. Because look, kittens. Kittens everywhere. Kittens. It worked. So what's nice to see here, and actually it's nice that this is an open standard, that this idea of an extension, you can look at the Chrome-specific API, the documentation, and make Chrome extensions, but your code, for the most part, without perhaps some minor changes, I'm sure. I mean, this is a very simplistic extension. So there might be other things, but you can look at this Mozilla documentation page to create cross-browser extensions. Cross-browser kittens for all. So I hope you enjoyed what has now become a very short video. I would be happy to load my other extensions and see how that works. Let's just at least load one that has a button. So now I'm going to be ambitious, and I'm just going to say load. I'm going to load one that I made for looking up words and getting their definitions from WordNet. So I'm going to open up this one. And I guess I have to, in Chrome, I select the folder. It looks like I select the manifest.json file. So word lookup. Now you can see, look, my button is there. And I can go to, let's go to a Wikipedia page for like rainbow. And they're still replacing things with cats. Look, I now have a kitten here. And I'm going to select sky, click here, and look at that. The expanse of air over any given point on the Earth, the upper atmosphere as seen from the Earth's surface. So I'm really disappointed. In some ways, I'm going to say I'm disappointed with myself, but that's probably not the right thing to say right here. But I wish that I had sort of started with this knowledge and from this point of view, because as much as possible, I like to use generic and open tools that can be applied to a lot of different things, like different browsers or different operating systems. But hopefully this video allows you to see if you want to do one of your extensions for a different browser, you can do that. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you in another time in another video, maybe if you want. You could yeah, okay. No, that's fine. Don't just go on with your day. Goodbye. Wow, I can't believe how easy that was. All right, everybody. It is 6:40. How long has this live stream been? Q&A. I'm happy to do a Q&A for a short amount of time. I need to read some more of the random number book, and then I need to go. And I won't be back for 2 weeks because of Thanksgiving next week, unless I can come up with a way to do a little something before 2 weeks from now. But I will be back in 2 weeks. Try Microsoft. Recommend some cool creative coding books. I would love to. So my go-to resource for that is probably where I would start would be processing.org books. They're all going to be kittens. You should probably disable that extension, as fun as it is. Remove. How do I? It's funny. It doesn't look like you can enable and disable. I just have to like remove it. This is a good resource for you to start with some creative coding books. This is one that I really, really love, Generative Design. Some other books that I've been recently looking at are, this is a wonderful book, 10print, History of Computing and Creative Computing through the lens of one line of code from the Commodore 64. Form and Code is a wonderful book, Form and Code. This is a wonderful book, Form and Code and Design, Art and Architecture. A book that I love. I wish I had my bookshelf behind me because I could sort of just look through it. Lauren McCarthy is getting started with P5JS book, which is a port of Casey Reese and Ben Fry's book. Is great for just getting started with P5JS pretty quickly. And then Nick Montfort has a book that's just like exploratory programming for the humanities or something. Something like that. Exploratory programming for the arts and humanities. This is a really nice one as well. Is there a good resource for creating AI in JS? Thank you for asking that question. What I would say to you right now, for those of you who are interested, go to deeplearnjs.org. Take a look at that. And I really hesitate to show this to you because it's very much in progress, but a bunch of us at ITP are working on something called P5 Deep Learn JS. So this is the URL for that. github.com/ITPNYU P5-deeplearn.js. This is something we're working on to allow you to do machine learning in the, ooh, this is new. KNN image classifier. That's like, wasn't even there this morning. And this is what I'm planning. Been working on this. And I suggest you look at the contributors. There's been other folks that are contributing to this. And this is something that I hope to do a lot of video tutorials with starting in the new year. So if you want to get a preview of this and start to look at it, you are welcome to do so. I would also recommend you take a look at Teachable Machines, which is a project from Google Creative Lab. And I plan on maybe using this Teachable Machines demo in some videos to explain certain machine learning concepts as well. Hello Dan, I want to ask, I recently graduated and am struggling to find a job due to lack of experience. I want to pursue software or web development. Any tips? So first I'd like to say is that I don't know that I'm really qualified to answer that question because I'm a little out of in my own world of making these YouTube tutorials and teaching classes. But I will say that from my experience of working with the Processing Foundation and looking for projects to try to support or participate in, that looking at somebody's web presence and their GitHub repositories and how they document their work is a really important thing. So for me, often, one thing you might think about, I mean, a resume and your skills and maybe where you went to school and grades are some of the things that you usually think about. These are the things that I need to apply for a job. But how you, and it's not really, and how you document and write about and explain your thinking and process, not just your projects and things you've made. So not just like, look at all of my code, but actually look at how I document and explain my code. This is a really valuable skill, and I think it really shows your, it can really show your talents in a nice and open, generous way. So to me, that's something that I think I aspire to do a good job of, and that's something that that maybe would help. So, and in that sense, maybe getting involved in some open source projects, which can sometimes feel scary, or maybe it's not for you, or you're not welcome, or it's not included, or you're going to say the wrong thing, and it's tricky. And I would love, as much as I can, to help with that. I certainly would encourage you to get involved with P5JS or Processing Foundation projects, and tweet at me if you're not sure how to do that. And hopefully this is something that I can do more on this channel to help get more people involved. Yeah, Alessandro asks a similar question. Zlotip asks, how would you structure an intro uni course for complete noobs? So I don't want to, I mean, this is like, you guys are like feeding me questions to like promote my own stuff, but this is, in terms of how I would do that is, if you look at the learning processing, and it's the learning processing book, this book is how I think about that. I mean, it's a, you know, I probably have new thoughts about this, but this is the second edition. This is the way that I teach programming here at ITP. I'm not actually using this book because this is for the processing programming environment, and we're teaching with JavaScript now. So getting started with P5JS is a great book for you to look at for inspiration also. But if you're interested, you could also look at our syllabus, which is github.com/ITP/NYU/ICM 2017. So this is kind of the outline of the syllabus of what we do in this course. I will say that other programs do things in different ways with more of an art focus, and actually Cadenze, which is a online education company, has a course called Introduction to Visual Programming for the Arts or something like that. That's taught by Lauren McCarthy, Casey Reese, and Chandler McWilliams. And so that, that course also is a great model, I think. And, okay. Oh, Shadowplays asks, how's your arm doing? Thank you for asking. It's actually doing really quite well. Can you even, looking at me right now, do you know which elbow I broke? Maybe you don't even know. It is the right side. If I did this, now you would know. I cannot bend the right arm fully straight, but I can get pretty good extension. This is called flexion, extension, and I have a nice, exciting looking scar that I don't know if you can see it, but I'm getting stronger, I'm feeling much better, and thank you for asking. Are you teaching computer programming class with JS? So I'm going to wrap this up in a second, but yes, so I teach at a program called ITP. It's part of Tisch School of the Arts at New York University. This is the website. It actually says ITP and IMA because starting in fall 2018, the undergraduate BFA version of ITP called Interactive Media Arts will be accepting its inaugural class. So there's still, I think the deadline is not till December 1st. So if you're looking for something to apply to, and if you want more information, you can tweet at me at Schiffman. But this is where I teach. So I'm teaching 3 classes right now. It's very hard to do, and it's the end of the semester. It's really busy. But doing this YouTube channel is really fun for me and rewarding. I'm trying to do my best, and yeah. And right, so that's usually how I end up picking the content, is I'm kind of do video tutorials on the things that I'm teaching at ITP so that I can publish those videos for the students at ITP and also make them publicly available. Yes, so in the course that I'm teaching right now, if you want to look for more information, is at schiffman.net/A2Z. I'm going to take one more question, which I don't even see. I'm going to check I actually just completely forgot to look at the Slack channel. Again, if you want to support the work that I'm doing with a financial contribution, which is not at all required, it's only if you have the means and feel inclined to do so, it's super appreciated. But I want to make this accessible for anybody, but you can go to patreon.com/codingtrain. Arm extensions. All right, so, Chinatown asks in the chat, just starting to learn code, what should I do first? I mean, there's umpteen ways that I can answer this question, and I could point you towards lots of resources that aren't my own, which are very good. First of all, let me just shout out the Code Newbies podcast. I think Code Newbies is a podcast which is probably one of the friendliest and most welcoming communities. They have Saran Yitbarek, who runs This podcast also started a new CS Concepts podcast I've been listening to, which is awesome. And so I'd definitely encourage you to check out Code Newbies. But in terms of my YouTube channel, if I go to youtube.com/Schiffman, this is the playlist for getting started from the beginning. So I would encourage you to use that if you want to follow my channel. There is also, by the way, you can also follow this playlist, which is also totally from scratch, but it's a much older playlist using just a different program environment called processing. But those would be the two places on my channel to start. Okay, thank you. Well, hello to Brazil. Thank you, Malvin. The waiting music is by @AdamBlau. I can't hear it. @AdamBlau on Twitter, who also wrote the Coding Train theme song, which is this thing.
Let's find something we want to make.
So
Some
if
crazy
you,
idea.
this is my Coding Train theme song that I'm going to play while I grab the random number book.
We'll try to understand now as we ride along again. Now hop on the coding train, coding train.
So I don't have any plans to remake the processing tutorials, but that is an interesting idea. I mean, in theory, I would love to. Given infinite time, I definitely would. But the thing is, most of them are still valid. The quality's not so great, but all right. Wow, a lot of viewers from Brazil. All right, I'm just going to read the first two paragraphs of the introduction. Early in the course of research at the RAND Corporation, a demand arose for random numbers. These were needed to solve problems of various kinds by experimental probability procedures, which have come to be called Monte Carlo methods. Many of the applications required a large supply of random digits or normal deviates of high quality, and the tables presented here were produced to meet those requirements. The numbers have been used extensively by research workers at RAND and by many others in the solution of a wide range of problems during the past 7 years. Now, when it says the past 7 years, the original book was published in 1955. So I assume it's referring to the years between 1948 and 1955. All right, that's all I have the energy for. Ricardo says the majority here just like this random number reading thing. And well, first of all, I usually try to just do it at the end, so you can always just tune it out. And it's a little personal challenge to myself, so you can humor me. But I don't know if that's really true either. Let's do something a little unscientific here. Create this poll. I'm going to vote yes. And you can vote yourself at that URL. And I will listen a couple more questions. I'm looking for more questions. Simon, it's time for you to go to sleep. Malvin asks about the ITP show. It is, the ITP show is December 7th. Let's look it up. itp.nyu.edu/show. December 17th and December 18th. I should be here at both, so please say hi if you come. Generative synthesis music in P5. I did a video a little bit about that. But not so, I should do more. Oh boy, this song has a minute and a half left. Should I learn P5 before native JavaScript? Which one should I go for first? I mean, you're kind of asking the wrong person because most people won't answer the question the way that I'll answer it, but I think learning P5, starting with the P5 library, is a nice entry point to learning the basics of programming. And from there, you could investigate native JavaScript at the same time, afterwards, during, but just having the sort of simplicity of the P5 environment. It's, you know, if you're interested in graphics and animation and beginner-friendly stuff and making art, that's what I would start with. I'm a computer science major, and my biggest problem is just how to solve the problem, not the coding itself. Did this ever happen to you? All the time, yes. Definitely. It's really hard. Is P5 just the environment to program JavaScript for, and can I use the exact same code? And just, you have to make sure you import the libraries. Someone's asking if I plan any meetups. I did attend Processing Day, which was really fun. I hope to, I try to announce if I'm going to be at a conference or anything. I love the idea of doing more live events, but I'm not so sure how to make that happen. How many hours till the video on demand of this is uploaded? It actually will be available immediately, but it's usually available immediately unlisted. So if you want the link, it's pretty easy to find, or you can tweet at me or something. But once I have the description and everything written, it'll be released as public sometime this weekend, probably. All right. You guys are the greatest. There wasn't that many votes, but. Okay. Thank you, everybody. We can refresh the results. Everybody's gone. Everybody's asleep. My throat hurts. I've been talking for 3 hours straight. It's 7 o'clock. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to today's Coding Train. I won't see you again for 2 weeks, at least live on YouTube. All these videos will get published, though, slowly over time, the edited versions. And I'm on Twitter, although I think I probably should get off Twitter and join Mastodon, because Twitter's kind of an awful place. But for the moment, I'm still there at Schiffman, and this laptop died. I have to plug it back in. And so, thank you. All right. Goodbye, everybody. I will play you. And anybody want to watch the trailer on the way out? No, I'm just going to end the stream. Okay. Thank you, everyone.